Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unboxed. So glad that you're here and joining us today. As I shared with you last time, there is a science to thinking, an actual method that all the great leaders should follow. Many of the great leaders do follow, and all the great leaders should follow to become stronger and more competent thinkers. As leaders, we are clear about what we think and what we believe. Unfortunately, we are not as intentional sometimes about the process of thinking that we should use to come to these beliefs and ideas. Last time that we were together, I mentioned to you the book, How to Think by Alan Jacobs. How to Think by Alan Jacobs. It's an awesome book. I would encourage you to read it. Another great book is called Thinking for a Change. Two great books that I encourage all leaders to read. I also shared with you the last time my thoughts and beliefs regarding abortion, and I shared with you how I came to hold these beliefs. So today what we're going to do is we're going to unbox the formula for thinking that each of us should follow as we come to our principled positions. Stick around. I'm Dr. Robert Davis, family life educator and relationship coach, and welcome to Unboxed, a frank and straightforward conversation about relationships. We're going to talk about family, church, workplace, and all other types of relationships. Join me for the next few moments as we unbox the power and potential of relationships and help you to live your best life. All right, come on in and get comfortable. Come on in and have a lot to talk about, so we'll get through it as quickly as possible. But before we get started, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, and hit the notification button so you can know when we're going live. And if you're listening to this by podcast, our website is www.swg-unboxed.org. That's www.swg-unboxed.org. All right, we're talking about the science of thinking. Here is the formula. I told you I was going to give you a formula yesterday. Okay, you ready for it? Drum roll, please. Here is the formula, the process for coming to the right decision, for developing a principled position. And it is this right here. Look honestly at yourself and your motives for believing what you believe, and do it more or less continually. Look honestly at yourself and your motives for what you believe, and do it more or less continually. So the last time that we were together, what I did was I told you that I am pro-choice, anti-abortion. I know I'm all over the place. I can't get my bearings together. I'm all over the place. And as I think about my views on abortion, there are three aspects of my identity. Three aspects about my identity that heavily contribute to my thinking. And I'm going to put them in the order I think has the greatest weight on my thinking process, okay? So the three things are, number one, I am a man. So as I come to my thinking process, especially around abortion, I think the three things that have the heaviest weight, and I'm putting them in order, is number one, I am a man. I mean, historically, men have had the power and authority over women's reproductive rights. I am a man. I can't change that. It is the fact of who I am. And especially the fact that I was born in the 70s, I became self-aware in the 80s, came of age in the 90s, and became an adult a real adult in the 2000s. That means that there's a certain worldview that I've taken on, and the worldview that I have been born under is a worldview that says men have the right to control women's reproductive rights. We've been doing it historically, I've been doing it for years, and I am aware that that is a heavy factor on how I view abortion. Number two, I am a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. And Seventh-day Adventist is a very conservative Christian church. My views on life, reproduction, biblical interpretations of when life begins, etc., are heavily influenced by me being a Seventh-day Adventist Christian. And so the third thing that has a great influence on how I've come to this decision is the fact that I'm Black. I am an American descendant of enslaved people. It is impossible for me to separate my views on a host of issues, if not nearly all issues, from the fact that I am a Black man in America. And so these things have had a continual influence on how I view the abortion thing. Now, I want you to notice something. I'm not arguing or trying to prove to you today that my thinking is right. What I'm hoping you're getting a chance to see is how one actually goes through the thinking process. So let's take one more look at the formula, the process for developing principled positions. And that is, here it goes, look honestly at yourself and your motives for believing what you believe, and do it more or less continually. Look honestly at yourself and your motives for believing what you believe, and do it more or less continually. Again, I got this quote from the book, How to Think by Alan Jacobs. So I just went through the process of looking at myself. Now I want to take a couple of minutes and talk about my motives. So I took a moment and showed you this is who I am. I looked at myself. Now I want to talk about my motives. There are more than what I'm going to share with you, but today I want to share 3 motivations, since I'm stuck in the cycle of 3, as I'll stick with that one. And that is, there are 3 motivations for my beliefs on abortion. 3 things that motivate me to be pro-choice, anti-abortion. Okay, number 1, I am motivated by a strong desire to be aligned with what I believe has been taught or considered to be aligned with biblical teachings. So I am highly motivated by a strong desire to be aligned with what I have been taught and what I consider to be biblical teachings. The second thing that motivates me is I am motivated by a deep suspicion and distrust of the United States government in general, and specifically whites who claim to know how to help the Black community and how to help Black people. I'm very suspicious. I'm very suspicious. My grandfather bought a house in Washington, D.C., and then miraculously a whole bunch of projects and low-income housing got built up right around his, where he lived, and the price of his property value went to the toilet. 2 years before I was born, they had just stopped the Tuskegee experiment, right when I was going to college, and Blacks were actually going to college at the same level as white people, which is 50%. So 50% of all high school graduates were attending college. They came out with the Crime Bill Act. Matter of fact, crime was on a decrease in 1994 when they came out with the Crime Bill Act and locked up all the Black people. I'm just very suspicious. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very suspicious of the United States government. I'm very suspicious of whites who say that they want to help Black people. They want to help the Black community. The third thing that I'm motivated by is I am motivated by a desire to protect the vulnerable and the less fortunate. So when you take who I am and then you take into consideration those things that motivate me, I hope that it helps you to get a better and clearer understanding of why I view myself as being pro or anti-abortion, pro-choice. Anti-abortion, pro-choice. I don't know if I am right or wrong on the issue. As I told you last time, I don't have to make policy decisions. So what I'm sharing is all theoretical because I'm not sitting in the seat that actually makes those decisions. But what I am confident in is that I'm following the right process, the process of thinking and being honest with myself as to why I believe what I believe. And I'm confident that if I do this on a consistent basis, not just about abortion, but about a myriad of issues that I have to deal with, and especially with how I interact with my team and decisions about who's hired and who's fired and all those other things that leaders have to grapple with on a daily basis. If I follow this process of who I am and what are my motivations, that at the end, the process will lead to the right outcome. So here it is again. Here's the formula one last time. Look honestly at yourself and your motives for believing what you believe, and do it more or less continually. And this, my friends, is how I intend to unbox the power and the potential of my leadership. This is how I intend to unbox the power and the potential of all my relationships. I hope that you'll do the same. See you next time.
Seasoned with Grace, Unboxed also provides healthy relationship training and leadership development for businesses, churches, and community organizations. For a free consultation to discuss your team's needs, please contact us at our website at swg-unboxed.org. That's swg-unboxed.org.